Good afternoon, members, once again. Let us continue from where we stopped. Right, as we previously we have seen the psychoanalytic, or the psychosexual stage, and now we are moving to the cognitive development stage, which was initiated by Jean Piaget. Jean Piaget was also a philosopher, and I remember we had got some work concerning some short notes about him. So in the end of time, just start off, whereby it tells us that cognition is knowing and understanding. So as I told you earlier on, that cognitive ability or development, it majorly deals about the brain. What do you understand? What's in your brain? It deals majorly about the thinking, or it majorly deals with the brain. The major concept here is intelligence, which is a relative and broad and abstract concept with different meanings. We're going to see more in detail about the cognitive development. Intelligence or cognition means those inner processes and products of the human mind that lead to knowing and understanding, and includes activities like remembering, relating, synthesizing, imagination, and creativity. We shall see that the cognitive ability or the intelligence involves very many things. For instance, remembering, or particular relating various things, synthesizing, imagination, and creativity. All these activities are done by the brain. Remembering something, then imagination, then trying to be creative, they majorly deal with the brain. It is the brain that is responsible for all these actions. And we shall proceed whereby they tell us that IQ is always used to measure intelligence. IQ in short, in full it is intelligence quotient. We always say that your IQ is low, as you're going to see that, which is a ratio of the mental age to chronological age. An average IQ is 100%. That for an average age is always 100%. That's where our IQ starts from. That high IQ is high intelligence, and the reverse is true. Sometimes the IQ is very high, and sometimes the IQ is very low. From 100 to 100 to 140%, the IQ is very high. So a person who has 100, that is, the IQ starts from 100 to 140%, his IQ is very high. And 140 and above is genius. So a person who has 140 above, these are the kids that are called genius. That they're extremely wise. We have seen them on YouTube. You find a kid that the kid is 12 years but is having a PhD. These are the kids. So these are the people that for them they're extremely bright, right? But these ones, they are few in the world, but they exist. I take it among. Then the reverse is true, that 70% is dull. Because I've seen that the IQ starts from 100 to 140. From 140 above, it is genius. Then from 70% going down, then one's IQ is very dull. These are the cases that you teach that, but they are very dull. His IQ is very low. That is the intelligence quotient. So the theory of cognitive development was developed by Jean Piaget, who was a psychologist, who developed this theory by observing the behavior of his children, by analyzing the incorrect answers that his children gave in response to questions. So he made this research on his kids, because at times he questioned them, gave them questions, but the incorrect answers they gave him, it's where he based on to come up with this theory. He later concluded that intelligence appears to function on the basis of adaptation to environment or biological orientation, but sometimes that our IQ majorly it depends on the environment that we live in, because initially we had seen what's like nurture and nature. That sometimes it is the environment that determines our IQ, and sometimes it's the biological factors that determine our IQ. About the lady I told you and the professor in our previous lessons. as a continuation, as we continue from where we stopped, that we shall see that he said that Jean Piaget said that the IQ is determined by various factors, the biological factors and the environmental factors, that is the nature and nature. But however, I say that adaptation involves three processes. This adaptation majorly involves three processes. The first adaptation is assimilation. This is the ability to acquire the truth or understanding certain natural tendencies, e.g., fire is hot, water makes us wet. So this is an adaptation whereby under assimilation you are able to understand, to acquire the truth through certain natural tendencies. For instance, when we know that fire is hot. If a kid doesn't know that fire is hot, whenever this kid approaches fire and fire burns him or her, he's able to know that fire is hot. And if he doesn't know that water is cold or water is hot, he has to first test it, or whether this becomes a longer basin, then pours the water, then it becomes wet. That's when he learns that this water can make me wet. So it is one of the methods, things that develop our IQ. Then we shall proceed to another adaptation, that is accommodation. Accommodation is the ability to develop new or modify behavior to handle new situations. Ability to adapt to new environment, overcome hunger. Sometimes this is the ability for us to modify or handle new situations. Because we shall say to all of us that we are always exposed to new environments. Every single day we are exposed to new environments. So when you are being exposed to these new environments, sometimes we tend to learn how to maneuver through these environments. You are a teacher, you have got a job in a new school, you have to learn how to cope up with the environment, how to interact with these teachers, because sometimes there is always differences, the age limit and the environment. The environment is not always the same. You have shifted. You have been living in Uganda, then you have got a job in Canada. You have to shift and learn how to live live in Canada. So this is accommodation, is whereby you learn how to handle new situations. You have been living with your spouse, you have been having a kid, you have been having a parent, then unfortunately the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty God, takes this parent or this spouse of yours. You learn to live without these people. You learn how to survive. You learn how to handle the new situations. You have been in senior 2. Then you're now in senior 6. You have been in senior 2, you promoted to senior 3. You learn how to live in the situation of senior 3. You have been in primary. You have to learn how to. You have been in primary, then you have gone to second. You have to learn how to live in the secondary life. So this is whereby you learn how to handle new situations. You have been at campus, you have not been working. Then you have started working. You have to learn the dynamics in the working environment. So under this, another adaptation, that is equilibrium. Equilibrium is all about balancing the environments that we live in. Sometimes you're having emotions, sometimes you're having desires, but sometimes you have to balance them. You have got a spouse. Your spouse is interested in some things. Even you're interested in totally different activities. So for you to make it up, you have to learn how to balance. You should balance these two things. The desires of my wife and my personal desires. So that is the equilibrium. Then according to Piaget, there are 4 stages of cognitive development. So majorly those are, so you're going to look at the stages of cognitive development. So after having seen more about the IQ, so you're going to dig into detail and you see more about these stages of cognitive development, from the first stage up to the last stage, as we shall proceed.